affirming? We are. We've confirmed. We've gone live. Here we are, Monday night, Indigenous Peoples Day. Used to have a problem with monkey butt. Going live. So, hey everyone. I don't really have anything too much to talk about right off the top of the bat. Market kind of went meh today, probably because a lot of people weren't around. It was a holiday for most of the country. Banks were closed, so no bond trading. Another interesting fact I read was that because there's no bond trading, it was a bank holiday, today is not a settlement day. So if you are on a T+2 from Friday, today didn't count. So that stuff has to be made up by Wednesday. And vice versa. We probably saw tweets and Reddit mentions about its T+69 season for GameStop. And that should have been today, but today is not a settlement day. So maybe tomorrow? I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping Green Week. That's what I'm working for. Green Week. And I don't want MMTLP to rocket too much because I want to be able to get as much as I can next week when I have money. But yeah, it's MMTLP's taken off. It was at 340 at close. I have no idea where it went after hours. I did not look that up at all. But yeah, Russia blew up a whole bunch of city parks and roadways during rush hour. That sucked. What else is going on, Monkey? Monkey and I are just ate a whole bunch of teriyaki, and our stomach's going, I'm spending all of our time digesting food right now. So that's what we're on. Anyway, I'm sure you guys will yak at me as it comes. Click. Wait, how many days has it been since I've done a double intro? When was the last double intro, Monkey? Is that when I fucked up on the charity show? So then it'd be Wednesday, Friday, Monday. Am I at 7? Did I just tie a record? I think I may have. I have tied or set the record. Did I set the record at 7? I think I'm at 7 shows. I haven't gone back to figure out exactly how many. Okay. Anyway. Let's see what you guys are talking about, and we'll yak about it as well. Alright, we got first, second, third, damn, lol, 7th, first, alternative first, bullpen first, yes. Alright, Lindsay Amon, I'm so excited for Sears to be settled, for MMTLP to pop, and hopefully the GME to squeeze. I have hope. There's probably a bank going down soon. Which one it will be, I have no idea. I think right now, top contender, internationally speaking, is probably Credit Suisse. But honestly, it could be probably anyone at this point going down to trigger a whole bunch of scaredy cat dumping of the market. Ben Bernanke apparently is getting the Nobel Prize for Economics. Honestly, I don't know what he did to do that. I don't know. Meow meow. Have you ever visited Bruce and Brandon? Bruce and Brandon. Bruce and Brandon? Bruce and Brandon. Bruce who? Meow meow? You got to be more clear. I have no idea who Bruce and Brandon are. I know people named Bruce and people named Brandon. I don't know, man. Okay. Mighty Mouse, please help me understand. So torch shares are trapped in metamaterial and need to pay divvy of MMTLP, but now need to cover shorting of MMTLP2. I mean, I think Torch was shorted a whole bunch. And a whole bunch of the MMTLP shares that were generated were probably synthetics. And those synthetics cannot exist when the company goes private. I think that's the big problem. And we may be seeing synthetics being generated right now as the price is going up, and they're somehow like trying to short it while it's happening, because it's a stock that doesn't make any sense why it exists, because it's a weird preferred placeholder for the holdings company that has the oil leases. So, you know, it is what it is. Oh, Bruce Lee. Oh, Bruce and Brandon Lee. They're buried here in Seattle. I've been to the grave. It's in Madison Park. I don't know, when was I there? High school? Maybe like 20 something years ago. I've been there. So, yeah, you got to visit Jimi Hendrix and Bruce Lee when you're here. One of my favorite stories is there's a town of Albanians and Serbians in Kosovo, and they're trying to like commemorate the end of hostilities of the war that took place, and they couldn't agree on anything. Like they wanted to make a statue for this, statue for that, and everyone was fighting and couldn't agree, and so they eventually, in the end, just agreed to make a statue of Bruce Lee. So that's how they commemorated the end of hostilities. Was like both sides were like, yeah, Bruce Lee's pretty cool. We can build a statue to him. Okay. Hi, not your friend. Aloha, guys and gals. Lots of craziness today in the market. How are we looking with MMTLP and Sears? What is Sears doing at the moment? Did not look at SHLDQ. Oh, SHLDQ. That's back down to 6 cents. It dropped in half today for no reason, because we're not allowed to deal with it at all. So, I mean, it's quite bouncy, that's for sure. Been as low as 4 cents and as high as 22 in the last 2 months. That's as volatile as it gets, man. Yeah. Roaring Pickle, Hidden Kitty, going to the Big Island end of the month. Any tips? Go to the volcano. You have to go to the volcano. Try to see lava if you can. The lava lake is filling up the caldera right now, so it's pretty high, and you should be able to see it pretty easily. Go to South Point. It's my favorite place in the entire world. Go to South Point, jump inside the blowhole, swim around, jump off the cliffs, have a great time. And it also has people's photo albums. It's like a 35-foot jump, so it's scary if you aren't used to it, but once you do it a couple of times, it breaks that little circuit breaker in your head, and you just jump off all the time. What else? Going to City of Refuge in Captain Cook is beautiful. Snorkeling around there is fantastic. If you can go up to the top of Mauna Kea, you have to get a 4-wheel drive to do it, or have somebody who has one drive you up there. Go up there, go to the visitors information station, and you can do star tours and stuff, and you can drive up to the top of the mountain and see Lake Wow and some like cultural sites and all the big telescopes up there. On Saturdays, I don't know if they still do it because of COVID and everything, but previously on Saturdays, one of the park rangers, and usually an astronomy student, will lead tours of one of the telescopes up there. So if you have a 4-wheel drive rental, you can drive up and then go with a big train of cars up to the top and then go around on a tour of one of the big telescopes. That's always cool. It's also apple picking season. So up on Mauna Kea, you pay a little fee to the state, and you can go pick apples that grow in Hawaii because it's apple season. What's happening this time of year? Iron Man should be sometime around now, right? Iron Man's in October, I think. Go to one of the 4 sandy beaches and check out. Go to Waipio Valley. Waipio Valley is awesome. You also cannot drive down into Waipio Valley unless you have a 4-wheel drive, because it's the steepest road in the world. And believe me, if you have to walk it, it sucks. Holy crap, does that suck? Yeah. Do stuff like that. Eat at my friend Dean's restaurant, the White Orchid in Hilo. It is delicious. Dean is an amazing cook. He's also like the only dude who knows how to probably cook anything there. Dean does a great job. The White Orchid, if you go to Hilo, eat there. It's delicious. It's actually in the old Pizza Hut in where I got salmonella. He bought that building. So that's where the restaurant is. There you go. Okay. Jason Blackwell, Houston. I went to an English tea house today. They had the usuals, chamomile, Earl Grey. My favorite was the Chai of Africa. Man, you guys are just stretching this one. Just milking this for everything you possibly can. Put that milk in your tea, by the way. Okay. Imperium Steadfast. If reading my comments again, write it down. Orbit Culture. Listen to them. All right. Orbit Culture. Add it in the open door true float thing for number 6. Orbit Culture. Listen. Okay. Boom. There you go. G-Font, happy Thanksgiving from your Canadian viewers. Rad Dad, and I wish you the best. Oh, yeah, it's Canadian Thanksgiving, isn't it? So where everyone goes, thank you, and you go, sorry. Canada jokes. Josh Pepels, Tennessee, Houston, happy birthday. Wait, are you talking about the game? If you are, you just lost the game. Dale. Oh, you guys know what the game is? Game is trying to think about the game, but if you think about the game, you've lost the game. So now everyone's thinking about the game, and everyone here loses. Oh, man. Just slow down, my friend. Okay. Where was I? I just lost track in the thingy. Man, you guys do a lot of chatting before I ever get in here, don't you? Okay. Lost Wave, did you see the Super Mario movie trailer? If no, can you do it now so we can see your reaction? Let's see here. Okay. I got to turn this on so you guys can properties. Turn you on to Logitech. There we go. Okay. So, scene. Turn you to Chrome. Done. Okay. The official trailer.
The king of the Koopas!
Open the gates!
Attack!
That is but a taste of our fury. Do you yield? I do not. I finally found it. Now who's gonna stop me?
sorry. That one's perfectly fine. Come on, Mario!
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
All right. No, don't start over again. You. All right. That was an Mario movie, I guess. I mean, there's not much lore in Mario, and what I need from Mario is for Luigi to go, oh shit, because that's what he did in Nintendo 64. And that's what made it fantastic. But I can already tell Chris Pratt's going to be absolutely terrible voicing Mario. That was just flat. Is that the best clip they could get of him voicing Mario right there? Ugh. Yeesh. Apparently he's doing Garfield too. Like, dude, he does not have a Garfield voice at all. Oh well, you know, his agent's getting paid. They don't care. All right, where are we? Where was I? What's happening? I don't know how else to react to that. Okay. And Lost Waves. Who is your favorite character in Super Mario Kart 64? I play Wario. The thing about like the littler people, the littler characters, they corner really well. But you don't have to corner that well in Super Mario Kart 64 to really take advantage of the courses. If you can get full on top speed, like you can with the big fat guys, you can do really well. And then Wario just goes which I like a lot more. Yeah. Wario is who I play. Imperium Steadfast just finished going to Aftershock in Sacramento. Ended yesterday with Muse headlining Sunday. Never seen them live. They were worth the wait. Great showmen if you ever get a chance. Oh, all right. I've never seen Muse live. People talking about music festivals. All right. Grandpa Barney's here. Hey, Grandpa. BW Brand. Something about Dragon Ball Z. I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z. I'm sorry. A lot of like the cartoons that millennials seem to like cherish came out when I was like a senior in high school. So I really wasn't watching cartoons then. So like I have no connection whatsoever to Harry Potter because Harry Potter came out when I was an adult. And I didn't have any kids back then, not now, ever. So I didn't really read them. And then it didn't really appeal to me as an adult to read. It's like Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon. I never really got into them. And when like Houston, I was thinking about your roommate. You said he was Orthodox. How does he keep kosher at your house? I've seen your kitchen in the Hot Pocket video. It's not a kosher kitchen. He makes do. That's what he has to do. So, you know, you make do. You live where you live and, you know, does what he does. Walks to synagogue on Saturdays and walks back. Probably plays a little too many video games on days when he shouldn't be using electricity, but, you know, we all have our weaknesses. Is Grandpa Barney really your grandpa? I wish. He's got a sweet Corvette. Apparently another one on the way. Okay. BW Brand, glad Houston's starting a little early. I have a headache from not eating enough food today. Well, you should eat food, man. My monkey and I just got some teriyaki. Worked out great. She's like just a mop on the floor right now. You cannot be moved. Sweet monkey cam. Can I? That's as far as it tilts. Is that as far as it tilts down? It is. It won't tilt down any further, monkey. I can't show them you on the floor. It won't go down further than that. So if it won't see you, got to go up here. Right? Give them what they want, monkey. There you go. There you go. Yeah, get that monkey butt right on there. Okay. Piano student Semper, thoughts on the Tesla bot, the future work economy as an automated workforce, and universal basic income. One, the Tesla bot is trash. That is a garbage robot. Other robotics firms, other companies around the world 20 years ago are making better robots than the Tesla bot. Two, there will be robots that replace labor. There always have been. As you mechanize and you can streamline processes, you will have robots that replace humans. With that automation, humans will be out of work. And how do you keep humans alive if they don't have a source of income? Well, universal basic income is a solution to that. So they're suggesting that we give everybody in society living income so they can live and do their thing and not have to worry about work. And if they want to, they can contribute to society in other ways. I don't know how successful that will be in the end past, keeping people alive. I think the big solution in the future may be having some sort of Star Trek replicator device, because then you don't need anything. You don't need robots. So cut out middleman, get rid of the robots. Robots can work for certain things, but you still need humans to manage them. Like in Seattle at the ferry terminal, used to be there's a ticket booth. You'd buy your ticket, and then you go to a doorway where a person would take your ticket and just like stick it in a shoebox. And the person would count you going in. And you go into this room and you wait for the ferry. When the ferry unloads, everybody in that room just walks onto the ferry. It was really efficient. It was fantastically efficient. And the ferry system, wanting to get rid of the person whose job it is to sit there with a shoebox and a clicker, decided they're going to make these turnstiles. And you get a ticket with a barcode on it, and you boop, and it allows you to go through the turnstile. A couple issues with that. One, they didn't put the turnstiles before you enter the waiting area. So, like if you're getting on a subway, right? You get there minutes ahead of time, you boop, you go through the turnstile, and then you're on a platform waiting for the subway, and the train comes, and everyone gets off and on and flows really slowly, really easily. The ferry terminal decided to put the turnstiles right before you get on. So, rather than making a really quick, easy ability for 2,500 people to walk onto the ferry, they'll have to go boop before they can walk onto the ferry. And a lot of the boops don't work. People don't know how to stick the thing in front of the screen. Their fingers cover it. And so what ends up happening is the ferry, trying to save money on this one person collecting tickets in a shoebox, is now been replaced with 2 to 3 people walking around trying to make sure everyone boops the things correctly. And then they spent $64 million on the machines themselves and the ticket system. So trying to save maybe $100,000 a year on the employee with the shoebox, they instead spent like $64 million, plus probably all sorts of crazy maintenance fees on the apparatus itself. Plus, they're now spending maybe $600,000 a year in labor on the people running around, making sure everyone get booped in. Plus, the on-time ratings of the ferry boats plummeted because the system takes so long to get those 2,500 people onto the ferry that they now can't run a boat on time anywhere. So sometimes automation is not the way to go. Before my dad retired, he was working with the Navy. So he was an architect, but he was managing construction for the Navy. So his job was like the Navy's building housing on a base somewhere. And he's supposed to go and make sure the contractors aren't screwing people over. And if so, he's got to report like, hey, this guy is charging too much money for this thing, or not building this thing to code. And he's just managing construction. And he was only allowed to travel to construction sites in a government vehicle. So it used to be you'd go to this desk, and there's a basket full of keys. You pull out a key, you sign your name on the list, and it shows how many miles were on that car. You drive to the site, you come back, you put the key back in the basket, you write how many miles were on the car when you returned it, and you did your job, and you're done. Well, some whip-smart person decided to automate the entire system. So now you have to send an email. You send an email to an office manager. An office manager then goes to a computer and logs in which car you're going to get and has to go to a safe and get a key out for you. And instead of it being a 15-second process and you're off to the job site, it can now take half the day or more. And if the office manager is at lunch, or they're not there that day, or they didn't have to check their email, you might not get a car until tomorrow. And by then, whatever wall you're supposed to inspect may have been closed off, and you can no longer inspect that whole thing. And so sometimes automation just does not save in labor and time or anything else. Sometimes automation is just a company figuring out a way to make money off of someone, and then everyone's life just got a little bit harder. So, hoping to have a whole bunch of robots with human hands now, like stamping and signing documents and pushing paper around and like driving wrenches or whatever, might not be the greatest thing in the entire world. And then attaching AI to all of them just seems like, Terminator, iRobot, WALL-E, the first season of Picard. What other ones we got there, Monkey? There's a whole bunch. I mean, robots will just slaughter us all and take over, and there'll be nothing we can do about it because, they're stronger and faster, and they just plug into an outlet, don't have to worry about eating food. So, I don't know. I am worried about that in a way. Meow meow. Tesla is the best car ever. When you can pee burn up a Tesla, you're incinerated in a white hot flame. Not so with internal combustion cars, just normal boring fire. This is true. Plus, you can also get out of the car in a normal car. You just pull the door handle and the door opens and you escape. But in the Tesla, you're burning alive and you're trying frantically on the infotainment system, trying to find out the YouTube video that tells you how to open the door when the electricity is lost. And while you're doing that, you incinerate at like 6,000 degrees in a nice lithium fire. So there's that too. It's just a beautiful way of cooking human beings. Which brings you to that old philosophical point. Like if you're cremating a person at some point in that process, they're perfectly cooked. Yeah, get some trail mix. Okay. Can't live without nuts. That's a lot of nuts. Wooden Puppet Houston did not answer me last time. What is the formula for making babies? I think it's just 1 + 1 = 2. No, it's 1 + 1 = 3 is the formula for making babies. It takes 2 to make a thing go right. It takes 2 to make it out of sight. So it says raw base anyway. Or it just takes a test tube and some random guy in a dark room and a sperm donor. But and there's lots of ways to solve that formula correctly. BW Brand. Automation will continue to be part of work in general. I'm not too keen on the Tesla bot, but just more expansion into that concept. Yeah. There's going to be bots, and we're going to see more of them. The things that limit bots right now is that batteries suck, and people are cruel and like to break things. So, like those security bots that like patrol empty malls now. Kids love kicking those things over into like fountains. Or like knocking them downstairs and stuff. They just think it's the funniest thing in the world. Because quite honestly, it's kind of funny. You get a $50,000 security bot rolling along with a camera, and some kid just kicks you down a flight of stairs. That's funny. What are they gonna do? Take your picture? Piano student Semper, thoughts on mandated speech in the name of compassion? How do you mean? Like on platforms? Yeah. I don't think any platform wants to be in the business of supporting like hate speech, because advertisers don't want their stuff like their ads to play with hate speech going. So that makes total sense. So I mean, you're not going to be able to overcome the platforms on that. The government won't mandate anything because they just don't. It'll be up to private companies to do all that. And you know, if you are going to let people say whatever they want, then you have to fully expect the backlash of society reacting to what they said. And you can't be like, that's cancel culture. No, it's just someone doesn't like you, man. They're not required to like you or to buy your book or your music or pay for your movie if you're a piece of shit. So they don't have to. I mean, I've chased away plenty of viewers from the show by not catering to their sensitivities. And you know what? Toodles. That's just, you curate the audience you want. If you want an audience full of assholes, you just become a total asshole and you'll get plenty of assholes following around. If you don't put up with those assholes, then they're not going to watch you and you curate a different audience. And so you just, what you do. Meow. Is there a chance one share of both metamaterial and MMTLP will needed to cover the torch shares? I think it's just MMTLP at this point. I don't think MMAT needs to be covered. I think it's just MMTLP. But you know, we'll see. What's that? Not Carrington, Carrisdale, that short hedge fund. I think those guys are the ones that are really going to get screwed in this one. Which woohoo! I hope so. I think it's just MMTLP. Boom, boom. Imperial Steadfast Houston, any thoughts on getting attorneys regarding Big Orange Guy and National Archives and Espionage Act? Just curious, elaborate, explain to me like I'm 5 Cliff's Notes if I need a brief. So, the National Archives and the FBI asked Trump, said, hey, there's documents missing, we need them back. And Trump's lawyers signed a letter saying, we checked, we confirmed, there are no documents here whatsoever. Under penalty of law, there are no documents here. I've checked. And then the FBI got a warrant, discovered a whole bunch of documents in a very easily to locate spot. So if you were a lawyer, you would have checked and you would have seen those documents there. So the lawyers could be facing criminal charges for lying to the FBI and perjuring themselves. And now the attorney who signed that document says that she was forced to sign that document by one of Trump's other lawyers. And so it sounds like she may be turning state's evidence against Trump and his lawyer. Oops. I mean, no one is going to willingly go down for that dude. Everyone will turn state's evidence eventually against him. The government is slowly squeezing each person around him, getting them to turn state's evidence against him. And they'll be like, look, you can spend like 50 years in jail, or you can just say Trump did it. And they're going to go, Trump did it. No one's going to give up their freedom for that guy. Okay. Lost Waves Houston, thoughts on PayPal? Stuff spread, was it yesterday? There was a Saturday that spread that PayPal was introducing in their new terms of service a speech, I don't know what to call it. Like, if you did horrible things online, we have the right to take $2,500 from you, is what came out. I have no idea as the authenticity of it. I've read that it's just completely made up and that PayPal did not do those things. Others have said that PayPal like freaked out and said, "Oh, we're going to pull that back." And so I have no idea about the authenticity of it. Seems like a weird system. My guess is it might be tied to the fake trucker convoy thing that was happening in Canada where groups were raising money and just kind of stealing it in the name of the trucker convoy from all sorts of rubes on the internet. And I think it may have come from that. And so PayPal froze all sorts of accounts that were associated with that and trying to get the money back to people. But that's just speculation on my part. I mean, PayPal's gone through iterations where it's been pretty shitty company and pretty awesome company. I loved PayPal. 2006 to 2008, you could get 12% return on your cash if it sat in PayPal. They put it into this crazy fund that was pulling 20% before the economy collapsed in 08, 09, and you could get 12% return just by having cash in your PayPal account. So I was dealing gemstones, lots of things on PayPal, and I just kept tons of cash in there, and I was getting 12% return just by having money in there, and it was better than like anything else I could possibly do. And then the economy crashed, that market thing disappeared, and no longer got the money back for investing it and keeping it in PayPal, which is a bummer, but you know, such is life. It's me, BK Houston. I hate the fact that everyone has been flipping Finstone and the other recent departure as bullish news. Makes me second guess GME, and if we are in an echo chamber similar to AMC and Adam Aaron. I mean, we're definitely an echo chamber, but no one's covered. That's the thing. No one's covered, no one's closed. They haven't, because the price has not gotten to a point, and the volume has not gotten to a point where any of that has happened. Did you guys sell? No. Did other people sell? No. We're still sitting here. Why on earth would you sell now at $25 a share, right? Which is the equivalent of $100 a share pre-split, when you probably bought in at $120? You're not. No one's doing that unless they have like a family emergency or something. But, you know, for the most part, you just sit and wait. Sit and wait and sit and wait and sit and wait. And that's all we got to do. Yeah. Man. I mean, people move on. They go take on new jobs. They go move places. They take new careers. It happens, especially in business. And you can get signing bonuses and move on to be a C-level executive somewhere else and, you know, lead your own company and whatnot. So, you know, people will move on. It happens. It is mixed kitchen, Anna Rolnick. Most of what Ernest eats is just noodles. He just boils about 900 pounds of noodles and just seems to eat those all day long. There's so much pasta gets consumed by that boy. Houston, where did Elon touch you? In the frontal lobe of my brain that says, no, these things are wrong. In my conscience is really where he touched me. Because he seems to not have one. I mean, heck. He and Kanye are like trading anti-Semitic crap back and forth. So, you know, he's just a bad person in general. Talk about enough, Houston will stop glancing over it and answer. Dean Martin. The Dean Martin. Webull been acting shady on their graphs, lagging behind the price action, so it's hard to read what's going on. It's been going on for over a year, but it's getting worse, like they're about to scam us. I signed up for Webull so I could get I could order one of those Chinese IPOs and see what happens. And then the Chinese IPO crapped out, and basically SEC said no more Chinese IPOs. So I was like, oh, I'll use this money to do an option or something. And I got permission for options. Went to order an option. I think it was a SPY put. And Webull was like, you don't have permission to order a SPY put. This takes special permissions. I'm like, there are no more permissions that I need to play options. You gave me all the options permissions, so let's buy this option. Like, no, you have to apply for super secret, double top secret permissions to order this thing. I was like, fuck it. And I just took my money out. There's still a free share of Ford stock that they gave me for signing up. That's going to languish in there for a long time. But, don't make it hard for me to do things. Otherwise, I'm not going to use your service. The easier it is, I'm going to go, yeah, I'm done. There we go. I don't want to like jump through hoops and like have to sit down and take a class to be able to get permission to buy a friggin' spy put. Would have been done and over with. Just give it to me. No, Mike. Lost ways to talk about updates. It was not updates. I was just behind by a minute. Right, Monkey Butt? She's my accomplice. All right. $2,500 fine for being late. Scott Paul in Houston, check out Wadane. 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 Musical group, TV show, book. I have no idea. All right. $349. That's the price MMTLP is at right now. So it's up $2 in what, a month? Not too bad. RNVA pump and dump loose special. Yeah, where did RNVA go today? RNVA. Yep, still at 0.2. It went up to 0.3 at points and down all the way to 0.2, back up to 0.3, down to 0.2, up to 0.3. So you can make, 50% on your investment in an afternoon with a stock doing that, right? If it's going 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3 all day long, you can set an order to buy at 2, sell at 3, set an order to buy at 2, sell at 3, and just do that all day long if you've got day trading permissions. So, I mean, that's the penny stock way right there. Look at this. Okay, let's say you bought at 9 a.m. 9:35 a.m. you bought at 0.0002. And then at 10 a.m. you sell at 0.003. So you've got 50% on your money, right? So you then take all that, you dump it back into at 0.2, put a limit order. I want to buy this at 0.002. Someone sells it to you. And then immediately you send a sell order at 0.003. Bonk. All right. So now you are up. Let's say you started with $100. You now have 150. You now have 235, right? You put another order in by $235 worth at 0.0002, and you sell it again. Now you got $337.50, right? And then you put another order in to buy at 0.002, and you sell it again. Now you've got 570-ish, somewhere in there. Okay, you put another order, and you're now at 2:25 p.m. You put another order in, buy a whole bunch at 0.002, and by 2:45 p.m. you sell it again. So now you're at 600 and no, you'd be at almost $800, maybe a little over $800 by that point. So you do it one more time at 250, and somewhere in here you sell, and now you're over $1,000. So you start with $200, no $100. You're now over $1,000 by the afternoon, and you get one more in. Boom, boom. You're at $1,500. So if you day traded this sucker, doing nothing but bouncing between 0.0002 and 0.0003, did that sucker for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cycles. You made yourself $1,500 today. That's how you play penny stocks. Especially those like ones that are like seller bottomed. They just bounce dunk, 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 all day long. If you get them between 0.0001 and 0.002, you could have made a shitload. It would have been orders of magnitude. So you'd have gone from 100 to 200 to 400 to 800 to 1200. So it'd be 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. So you could do $6,400 if it was seller boxed at 0.001 and between 0.001 and 0.002. That's impressive. That's how you play those suckers, man. Great Ape Knolls. Houston, can you tell me how the marble peak of the Matterhorn in Oregon's Wallowa State Park is made? Wallowa Mountains. Which one? Marble Peak. Wallowa Mountains. Go to Google Earth. Okay. Matterhorn Peak. Bam. So the Wallowas are pretty cool. There's actually really great gold to be found here. So they're considered part of the Blue Mountains, but they're kind of a separate. Blue Mountains are here in the bottom corner of Washington. And the Wallowa, John Day Range, everything through here. So the northeast corner of Oregon is this little mountain range. Some of these mountains are pretty big. Some of them over 11,000 feet, I believe. 8, 9, 10. Where are you? Absolute tip top of the peak here. Joy Peak, almost 10,000 there. So there's actually a ghost town. Is it Cornucopia? It's here. The Cornucopia is down here. So there's a gold ghost town here called Cornucopia. I think it's on this side. As how Marble Peak was made, don't necessarily know. This is definitely an uplifted range. There's a granite substrate here from a batholith that got uplifted. And there is evidence of ancient seafloor, which is if there's marble in there, it's probably old limestone that got cooked and then uplifted. But there's lots of gold. I came in here, did metal detecting years ago in this long valley here. I can't remember what this valley is called. And got a whole bunch of like tiny little gold nuggets just going along the creek beds along this whole valley. And then the other side is where's Cornucopia? Cornucopia. Down a little bit further south. Okay. Cornucopia is down here. A little bit further south. I thought it was a little bit higher up there. But there's tons of gold mines all through here. This is a little ghost town. If you ever want to go to a little ghost town in Oregon, it's a great little one to go visit. There's some old tailings piles of some of the gold mines. Just follow them all up the valley. And there's just beautiful waterfalls. I mean, this stuff is gorgeous up here. Especially if you go like late spring, early summer, when the snow melt's really kicking off. There's waterfalls everywhere. And it's just awesome. But anyway, Matterhorn was here-ish? There-ish. I think here. Still 8,000 feet. Angel Lake, Eagle Creek, Galena Lake. I'll look up the marble itself. Oh no, I'll look that one up a little more, and I'll go in detail when I read about it more, about the formation of the mountain range. But there's so much gold through here. So much. Baker City. There's Baker City. Old Wild West town. La Grande. Another kind of Wild West town. It's a pretty cool area. It's really beautiful. It's pretty high up. So the winters suck. Winters are really cold. But you're near Hell's Canyon. And there's another cool ghost town right on the border called Lime, which is an old... Where's Lime? Durkee, Weatherby, Dixie, Huntington. It's coming in. Lime, Oregon. It's a former cement mine and... Yeah, right there. Former cement mine and cement factory. So there's a huge mine that was out here and out here on both sides of the highway for limestone and alabaster and stuff. And they built this huge cement plant next to the highway so they could pave everything. And it was owned by, I think, Portland Cement. And now it's completely abandoned. So Monkey Butt and I, whenever we come through this area, we just climb around and plan all this old stuff and take pictures. And it's really cool. It's totally abandoned. Great place to camp also. And the whole area, I recommend it. I recommend it very much. Oh, shit. God damn it. Google Earth wasn't on the entire time I was pointing at that feather plucker. Ah, guitar stuff, sorry. Boom. Turn on. There. Oh my gosh. You guys want the audiobook of Eastern Oregon? I may have not done a second intro, but I certainly did the stupid Houston not showing people where I'm dragging stuff around a Google Earth thing and just staring at a graph of our DNA or whatever. Okay. Anyway, zooming back out, we can see we have Oregon. Dong, 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 dong. We've got Washington. La, 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 la. The Wallowas are this really cool little mountain range. It's like a little circle here in northeastern Oregon. Lots of gold. Matterhorn is this peak in here. Cornucopia, the ghost town I was talking about, is next to this mountain here. Next to Red Mountain. You can zoom down to this valley, and the town of Cornucopia is right here. Here's Cornucopia. Lodge and pack station. Lots of brothels and miners shooting people and all sorts of stuff happened there. This is the long valley where I went metal detecting for gold and found quite a bit of it. Head out, you have Baker City in La Grande, Oregon, and Snake River, Hell's Canyon is up through here, deepest canyon in the world. And then the ghost town of Lime, Yaw, next to Interstate 84. This is it was a town and a big cement factory owned, I think, by Portland Cement. And I never went to the schoolhouse. I'm gonna go check that out. I'm gonna head to the schoolhouse next time. Huh? Monkey butt. We're gonna go to school next time we go through here. All right, just so you know. Yeah. I also camped here once and my tent pole snapped, and I spent the entire night trying to keep the tent pole off of me. It just kept falling on me, and it was not a very relaxing sleep. Don't recommend it at all. Anyway, there you go. There's your Hell's Canyon. Hell's Canyon. 7,000 plus feet deep, much deeper than the Grand Canyon. So Hell's Canyon is this whole thing here along the Snake River, and it is very, very deep. So you're down here at 1,700 feet, up here 5,000. Some spots are over 7,000 feet deep, and it was even deeper back in the day before they made the Hell's Canyon Dam. This was the hardest part of. So my oldest brother in 1992 quit his job, bought a kayak. He was a pilot. Quit his job, bought a sea kayak, and kayaked from New York City across the continental United States all the way to the Pacific Ocean to Astoria, Oregon. Took him 7.5 months. He's the only person ever to do that. And he was on CNN every morning. They were like checking on him and sending crews out. And he wrote a book about it eventually, which was an amazing book. And then he became a Seventh-day Adventist and rewrote the entire book. And then it wasn't that great a book anymore. But he did like class 5, 6 rapids in a sea kayak through Hell's Canyon. Just absolutely gnarly. Basically, I'm going to take his path. He did. Come on, go work. There we go. All right, New York City. Start in New York City. You go up the Hudson River. Up the Hudson River. Kayak. He did this starting in April, and there's like snow and icebergs and stuff everywhere. And you go up to where you get to the Erie Canal, and then you Erie Canal it across to Lake Erie. Dong. Kayak Lake Erie. Or sorry, Lake. Oh, I'm wrong. Lake. All the way to Lake Erie. Kayak Lake Erie till you get to the Cuyahoga River in Cleveland. Kayak the Cuyahoga River up and get to the Ohio River. Kayak the Ohio River all the way to the Mississippi River. Get the Mississippi. Kayak down the Mississippi until you get to the Missouri River. Kayak up the Missouri River all the way until you get to Missouri River, get all the way into Wyoming to where the hike over the Continental Divide in Wyoming. So you go Missouri River to Yellowstone River, get to the mountains. You have to hike over the Continental Divide and then go to the Snake River through Idaho, up through here till the Snake River meets with the Columbia, and then you kayak out the Columbia all the way out to the Pacific Ocean, which is one of the gnarliest river mouths in the world. The waves are absolutely scary. And so we met him here in Astoria. So he kayaked out, hit the exit, then kayaked back to Astoria and met us for dinner. And we took him home after 7.5 months of doing that stuff. Absolutely gnarly. In some places you average like 40 miles a day if you happen to be with the flow of the river. In other places you can only make it a couple miles a day if he's paddling against the rivers. So like the entire time he did the Missouri, he was going against the flow all the way up the mountain. So he's kayaking from an elevation of 300 feet all the way up to an elevation of like 8,000 feet before he had to hike over the Continental Divide. So he's going up, kayaking up a river 8,000 feet over the course of months along that entire route. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but anyway, he hit a kayak Hell's Canyon in a sea kayak, and he discovered along his way when he punctured holes, the best way to repair his hole was with a butane lighter and a plastic trash can lid. So he would like find someone's plastic trash can lid, take that, cut it, patch it over, and use a butane lighter to melt it onto his kayak. Okay. Arthur Martin, Houston, thoughts on nipple clamps, metal or plastic? I mean, I guess it's up to the user. I mean, I would just be like old school and just go with like wooden clothespins. You know, just like a traditional wooden clothespin, I guess. That seems to be... It fits all occasions. Formal, informal, orgy, you name it. Wooden clothespins are probably the way to go. Because everyone's familiar with those. They know they can be used for multiple purposes. It's like Swiss Army knife of nipple clamps. So there you go. Luke Alexander, Houston, can you still buy MMTLP on E-Trade and TD Ameritrade without having to call in? You can still buy. I was able to scoop some up. Really? So I think Schwab, those ones, and then you got to call and argue with somebody for an hour to get it on Fidelity, which is where I have mine, or on Fidelity. Noted. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Jared Ammon, what's going on with the AMC community? Terrible in their Twitter space call, freaking out, calling AMC a Ponzi, pump and dump. Community is cracking with all dilution and debt. I mean, people seem to be melting down, for sure. I don't know, man. I mean, they're even waiting for November. I mean, all I have to do is just sit and wait. That's their entire job. Is just sit and wait. Wait for November 20th or whatever the date is, and we go, woo! But yeah, people seem to be people just like drama. They're bored. The problem with sitting and waiting is it's very boring. I mean, just look at this poor dog right here. This dog is bored out of her mind whenever I'm talking to the wall, and all she would love to have some drama happening. She's absolutely just like, oh, this is so boring. He's just talking to a wall again. I wish something interesting would happen in my life. But instead, here I am, laying down in absolute luxury, being bored out of my mind. So I can totally get, like, people are bored. They need something. They need to pick at something and have something to do, and that just is human nature. People are not very good at sitting and waiting. Just literally just sit, twiddle your thumbs if you have to. Get a rubber band and snap it against your wrist. I don't know. Whatever helps you get through boring times. Draw, doodle. Take up a hobby. Build birdhouses in your garage. Just whatever it takes to fill that boredom of sitting and waiting. Okay. Get forward. Morning, Houston. Nothing else tonight. Just happy to chill out with you while on night shift. Welcome, my man. Kumquat Smoothie, Houston. Goems. Does No Labs potentially have the tech to scan liquids going through airport security so I can bring my drinks onto the plane? Yeah, I think it would work. Probably call. Ron just went to London with his wife. So, some airport scanning idea. Bing! That's a good idea. I mean, they could scan things coming through, metal detectors and all sorts of stuff like that. No problem. He's got to develop it and hone the frequencies perfectly for it. Don't worry, there's plenty of show. Accidentally play another intro. I got out of the way with doing a 10-minute talk about a mountain range you guys couldn't see because you're staring at a graph of my Chrome app. So, Kith, Houston, any comment history on agitprop in social media? I'm tired of having to deprogram my friends from Twitter and Telegram every week. Been social media free for 8+ years. I mean, the old school version of like urban legends and myths were often, rumor mills. Like kids telling stories, whatever. Oh, did you hear about that one guy? And then people would tell and repeat and pass around a fax machine or whatever. It was very slow. And they developed and they kind of had their own sort of clads that would spur off of it. And when Snopes was created, Snopes originally was to combat these urban legends. But as social media took off and left these news groups, which were much slower and not as prolific, and social media started having audiences of millions of people visible, it turned from these, aliens are real, a guy strapped a rocket to the top of his car, razor blades in your kid's Halloween candy, stuff that's just, silly, to full-on propaganda ministry type things that really take hold of the psyche because they prey on people's fears. And a lot of people don't have, I don't want to say it's education, attention span is maybe the word I'm looking for. They'll get something from a source, they go, oh, and they read the headline, and then they put it in the back of their head and move on. And if those headlines happen enough, their brain will start to connect the dots and make a narrative that may not necessarily be reflective of the truth. And that stuff starts to get dangerous because then they once they find one headline that affirms like the weird notion they have that their mind has created, then that's what they accept, and their brain will not accept anything else. They start to tie their identity to that belief system, and you're not going to be able to break the people of that. You just can't. You can try, you can argue. And the best you can do in arguing is hopefully preventing someone else from falling into that same trap. But the person you're arguing with generally is going to be so deep into it and tied to who they see themselves as, you're not going to be able to separate them from that idea. They're trapped in there, and that's just where they're going to be forever. So, how you get them out? I don't know. I've been working on my sister for a long time, and she's been stuck in there ever since the beginning of COVID. She got the bad part of the YouTube algorithm. She went down this YouTube algorithm hole, and I was like, dude, YouTube's recommending like white supremacists to you. You need to stop doing this. And I mean, because before long, you'd be like, the Jews. And she's like, nuh-uh, I'm a free thinker. And now she's like, the Jews. And it's not cool. Not cool at all. I got 4 sisters, by the way. It's one of them, but not the one you're thinking of. And, it happened exactly the way I said it was. She basically just had her brain rewritten by the YouTube algorithm. And here I am on YouTube. I have no idea what the algorithm does with my show because I don't spend the time making like cool thumbnails and advertising and hashtagging and stuff. I think I just have the audience I'll have. I don't know if I'll ever grow. I got you guys, and that's where we are. So I have no idea what gets recommended from my shows at all. But there's definitely it's like a gravity well of like these really hateful people that will just sort of draw someone who's curious about a topic in, and then they just start recommending video after video after video and these things, and they just fall into it, and then they wrap their identity around this, and that's it. They're stuck, and I have no idea what the solution is. I don't know how to get them out. It's like a cult. I mean, I guess you could like drag them off to a deserted island with, I don't know, a library, and they could just sit there and read until their brain's thinking about something else. I don't know how to willingly get them out of that, though. Jelly Houston, is Adam Popcorn start dumping ape shares in the market? Price keeps going down. I don't think they've dumped them yet. I think the price is going down because I think it's being shorted, or everything's being transacted through dark pools, so you're not seeing any of the demand represented in the market. What it sounds like with ape is that they aren't going to dump into the market. They're going to set up a prearranged deal via a dark pool with someone, basically saying like, hey, I don't know, Chase Bank, you've got all these hedge funds under you that are short a cajillion shares. You can strike a deal with us and buy all 484 million of these things, and we'll sell them to you at this price. And then Chase Bank goes, okay, signed, deal, done, swap, everything's out. Might not be reflected in the market that way, but demand may plummet if that's what they do, because then there's no T plus anything keeping institutions from having to buy and close positions or cover. But I don't think he'd be offering direct to the market. I think they set up specifically to offer directly to big institutions. There's one to wait. Just wait. Wait until after the T90 dates. All right. Hassan Bells in the North Sea. I guess that's really early morning for you. Holy smokes. Yeah. Danjo, the Banjo. Last week I mentioned I bought a reflector telescope. I bought a Celestron Nexstar 130 SLT. I'm amazed. I can see the rings of Saturn through it. I bought some better eyepieces. Now I'm hooked. That's exactly... I ran into, when Monkey and I went to get dinner tonight, ran into a friend who's like, I'm looking for a telescope. And that's the one he showed me. And I was like, that's an awesome telescope. No, it's fantastic. It's a little reflector. Is yours have the automatic slew option on it and finder? Because those are fantastic. Especially if you can do any photography. You just get the little adapter for your SLR, stick it on there, and it will track the object for you so it stays nice and clear. I recommend, if you're going to do astrophotography, to get one that tracks. They're great. Oh. Prontal. What is one financial habit you may change after MOS? Financial habit? Or just like a life habit in general. Like, I do buy a lot of generic things. Generic ketchup, generic mustard, off-brand this, off-brand that, generic cola. And it would be nice to like go to a store and just buy the name brand thing. Not to like look and study and see which one will be the closest to the name brand one in quality or flavor or whatever. Like, it'd be nice to just, go get a good set of towels rather than whatever towels were offered at Ross or TJ Maxx or whatever. And that'd be a little bit of like less penny saving luxury they can splurge on. Yeah, is that what you mean by financial habit? New dog beds every week. Fly first class. Flying first class is lovely. I don't like long haul. It's very nice, but I can be happy sitting in a like exit row if I'm flying to like Europe or something. But, once you can tack on lots of miles, you can start upgrading yourself in flying that first class, and then you never want to be stuck back in coach ever again. That'd be nice. Yeah. Yeah. I've only got to fly first class internationally once, and that was this past trip coming back from Europe. I was really, really, really nice to the ladies at Iceland Air check-in in Paris. And I just happened like, hey, this flight doesn't look like it's very full. Can I upgrade to first class? And Lena's like, yeah, $25. I was like, sweet. So I had to fly first class from Paris to Iceland. I didn't get the chunk from Iceland to Seattle, but, it was nice to, like, have a wide seat. Because I'll be honest, Iceland Air, the coach seats in Iceland Air might have been the most uncomfortable seats I've ever sat in my entire life. I felt like my back was in so much pain the entire time. I was just, like, in agony. But the first class seats were lovely. I don't know why they have to make coach seats so uncomfortable. Just pick a design that works and then put that in every seat, and then people can be happy. I don't know. Citizen 54. While they thought they could that Bernanke could be bought to put in the fix once again, sudden elevated profile and praise. Senior advisor at Citadel, Nobel Prize-winning economist. Same BS as '08. The world really, 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 really wants the U.S. to pivot, and the Fed has said no raising interest rates for at least a year, maybe longer. We talked about this, was it last show or the show before, Monkey Butt, where we talked about the US dollar and how the US dollar is getting stronger. Someone did an amazing Twitter thread, and I retweeted it, and I can't remember their names now, talking about why the US dollar is stronger and why the rest of the world is screwed as a result of it, and that they cannot pull out, or else their entire economy is going to collapse worse than it's already collapsing now. And why China can't pull out. Like, China is stuck, tethered to the US dollar forever, because the US dollar dominates every banking system in the world. Anytime you want to borrow or lend money, you're doing it in dollars. Anytime you need to transfer wealth from one nation to another, you're doing it in dollars. Anytime you want to buy gold or natural gas or oil, you're doing it in dollars. If you are an American company and you need to purchase something from a company in Ghana, the company in Ghana is going to go, I want US dollars for that. They're not going to want Ghanese currency, whatever that happens to be. You're doing a deal in Vietnam, they're going to want dollars. You're doing a deal in Australia, they're going to want US dollars. You're doing a deal in Japan, they're going to want US dollars. Because that is the currency of global trade. And every single country on earth is stuck in that dollar system because all of their debt is stuck in that dollar system. They can only pay off their bonds with US dollars. They can't pay them off with anything else. And so everyone has to turn to the US dollar when stuff gets tough, and their own currencies start to plummet as a result in comparison. And so as long as the US is raising interest rates, because, screw all of them, they're now stuck trying to pay off debt with rising interest rates in a currency they can't print. And so they're waiting and waiting and waiting for the US government to flood the world with dollars at some point. And the Fed's like, nah, we want to get inflation down to 2%. And it's just going to take a lot of painful steps along the way before we can get there. And so here we are. We're stuck. We got to cause pain because we dominate the world's currency, and that's where we are. But the UN wants them to pivot. The IMF wants them to pivot. The World Bank wants them to pivot. And my thinking is that the Nobel Peace Prize is going to Bernanke. Like, hey, we gave you the Peace Prize. Pivot already. And he's like, nah. So, oops. We printed all we wanted 2 years ago. We're not printing anymore. And everyone's addicted. They need that printing now. Do bonds scream when they fail? Dev Stratromga. You ever hear about a guy named John Hempton? Thoughts on his take on AMC and him overall if you do? I don't know if I've heard of a John Hempton. I'm sorry. Send me a link to something. Great Ape Knowles. If the banks who lent to hedge funds go bankrupt, what ensures that the retail will get paid? What does the chain that will pay me look like? The banks will likely go bankrupt because of the hedge funds they lent to. My guess is the hedge funds are determining the fate of these banks at this point. They're talking this weekend about Nomura being done. And Nomura was one of those banks that had lent huge margin to Archegos and had to margin call them and took on billions in bad debt. So this is one family fund, right? This is one family fund that had $800 million in assets, but was doing $30 billion in trades. So they got their 30 to 1 and then some out of that. And they're bringing down 5 investment banks out of that one family fund. So what's it going to look like when other family funds and other hedge funds start to, be on the brink and they're going to collapse? The only way out of it, the Fed is going to have to, at some point, print and bail out the banks. They're just going to have to, because that's the system that they designed by making all these banks too big to fail, is that they can't let them fail. That is what too big to fail means. It means you made them too big, you can't let them fail. So they're going to be dumping money and raising interest rates at the same time, and it's going to just be the stagflation doom that we've all been hearing about. Monkey butt, you are a loud scratcher, man. You are so loud. You are. You're a loud dog. But you have a lovely bandana, so cheers to you, buddy. Right. Okay. Oh crap. And the chat loves to just scroll to the bottom and I lose where I was. And okay, well, it just cut off a whole bunch of things there, so I missed where I was. Squamps. If America does a UBI, it'll be like $20 a month and a pack of Slim Jims. Yeah, whatever we do, it's not going to be enough. And right now, we are not in an environment that's conducive to that, simply because they're trying to limit how much money we have, so we don't spend money, so we bring the price of everything down. We have to obliterate some more companies and lots of jobs to make that happen. But man, yeah. J-Dog, don't want a real life Terminator, already sucks, Idiocracy came true. You like sex and money too? Jetsons mentality. Okay. In mods, I see there's some messages getting deleted. As a reminder, people can ask me questions if they want. If they're about certain things, I might just pass by them. That's fine. Only really mod if people are being racist, sexist, cruel. It's my stalker. Delete those things. Everyone else, they can tell their jokes and they can post their comments and ask their questions and that should be fine. Don't worry about, someone, you can give them a warning hey, man, you're asking questions too many times. It might take Houston half an hour before he scrolls down to this point. That's cool. But we don't need to punish folks for asking questions. I do see some questions. I just go, I've answered that 500 times and I scroll past it. So, we want to make a nice welcoming environment for everybody. Okay. Ba-ba-bum. All right. Spencer's Inside Out Sweater. Unless you have a trade-in, now is the worst possible time to buy a car or a house. Try buying from a rental car company in 2 years will be $18K, not $40. Yeah. The car, again, we were at like 20,000 repos a day right now happening. No one's applying for auto loans or home loans. That stuff's going to sit. And it's going to sit for months. And that's when they're going to get desperate. The car companies by Christmas are going to be so desperate to get models off the lot, to get the new ones in, that they're going to be giving them away. And they're going to have to figure out that. I think the car companies themselves, like their in-house financing, GMAC credit and groups like that, they're going to have to figure out how to eat profit off of their lending institution in order to move cars. Because having those cars sit and rot and age without any miles on them is just as bad as anything else. So remember in 2008 when they had to just destroy cars? They had the cash for clunkers. So you bring in your old car, they'll give you money for it, and then just blow it up. So the car's out of the market forever. We lost a lot of beautiful classics to that. Oh, goodness. So many wonderful, beautiful cars were destroyed in cash for clunkers. UK did a similar program. And also a bunch of new cars had to be destroyed. We went to the spot in Hoquiam, Washington on the map, where Hyundai brought in their ships full of cars and dumped them because there are no buyers for the cars. They know what to do with them, and them having to destroy them all for a loss and collect whatever insurance, wherever they're getting off of that. Come here, monkey. Come here. Come on. Come here, buddy. Get over. Just get over here. You're staring at me like you want some attention. Come on. Come. I know you want it. I know you want it. Come on up. Come on. There we go. All right. See? That's what you wanted. You wanted a belly rub. I could see it in your look in your eyes. Was belly rub time. And we may get to a point where they might have to start eliminating inventory and just writing it off as a loss and take their tax breaks and whatever else. Cars are going to get super cheap. They're going to get super cheap here coming up. Right, monkey? We're going to get ourselves a sweet new war rig out of it, and it's going to be great. Right? Yeah. Stop driving this borrowed car. We're going to make a boatload of MMTLP. We're going to get our new war rig. That's what's going to happen. B2B brand, I mentioned this to my sister Saturday. The more automation we have, the less people will know how to do anything. True. I mean, it's getting bad enough just because we got rid of all those cool programs that we had in school growing up. People don't know how to weld. They don't know how to work on cars. They don't know how to build stuff out of wood. They don't know how to sew anything. They don't know how to cook for themselves. The focus so much has been like STEM. And I'm a STEM dude. But even then, like, I want hobbies. I want to know how stuff works. I want to be able to fix things myself. The water heater stops heating. What do? Well, you got to pay a fortune to call someone to fix it. Why? Because I don't know what's going on. When it turns out, I just had to take out a heating element, like little thermostat thingy, and put a new one in. Done. I could have done that, but I don't know how. So I had to call someone to do it for me. But the great thing is the guy taught me how to do it. So if it breaks again, I don't know. I can do it myself now. But yeah, we are so automated that we can't work on a car ourselves for modern cars. The electronics are so complicated that, you do anything and the ECU is like, I won't work anymore. You're in limp mode forever. It's just a pain in the ass. BOFH, have you heard of the option strategy known as the wheel? Curious about your thoughts if you have them. I don't know what the wheel is. Is that those 1348 people or is it something different? I don't know. Is bag holding a position? Peace Tech, think about moving to America for work since there seems to be a huge labor shortage and the dollar is strong compared to the Canadian dollar. Any advice? Plus, it seems like a cool place to see. I don't know what you do for work, Peace Tech. I would love to move to Canada for work. Go somewhere on the coasts. expensive, but it's worthwhile. Having the ocean and mountains are always great. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what your field is of work, where you'd end up moving. If you're tech related, you're probably going to be in like Seattle or the Bay Area. If you are like an engineer, you might end up like Chicago or New York. If you're banking, you might end up in like North Carolina, where all the banks are, in Charlotte. You know, there's always good, wherever you go, there's always like nice neighborhoods and places. Not everywhere's a shithole, but there's also a lot of shitholes. So, you know, tread lightly in certain areas. Okay. Spencer's inside a sweater. Save the Accord in case we have a cash for clunkers situation. Yep. There you go. If you don't remember, Obama gave everyone like $5,000 for $900 cars. It's true. Cash for clunkers was essentially a bailout, part of the bailout for the auto industry. I wouldn't doubt if we'll see another similar bailout for the auto industry. It worked out last time. I mean, we saved 5 million jobs, and the U.S. government made like a $25 billion profit off the deal. So it worked, and we saved all those companies. The U.S. government went in and just seized Chrysler and GM. We're like, you're ours now. We're going to put a government person in charge. You're going to run this company, and you're going to save these jobs, and we're operating at a loss. And then they did a new IPO, issued stock, sold the company, and they got out. And the companies were totally strong after the economic downturn. And they may have to do it again because interest rates are crazy high, and the cars are all. I mean, I saw an ad for a Jeep Grand Wagoneer, a Jeep Grand Wagoneer for $105,000. It's a rebadged Dodge. What's the state? Durango. It's a Dodge Durango with a Jeep badge on it. You want to charge $105,000 because it's got a little walnut trim around the screen on it. It's a Jeep, dude. It's gonna have 350 problems per 100 vehicles. the resale value is gonna fall off a cliff because only Jeeps people care about are Wranglers. Every other Jeep is just like whatever. It's penny. Yeah, I $105,000 for a Jeep Durango or Jeep Grand Wagoneer. It's a Dodge Durango. It's silly. That's just unnecessary. And you're going to take on a mortgage payment for a car that's going to lose 90% of its value by the time your mortgage payment's done? I don't think so, man. People are going to do a lot more leasing if that's going to be the case. Just in my head, thought North Korea wasn't a real threat because China would never let them, since the U.S. response would cause a refugee crisis that would break their economy. No. That's a good point. That entire region of China that borders Korea, the dominant language is Korean also, not any of the Chinese dialects. My guess is China doesn't want that kind of war because it brings more soldiers to their door. They don't want that. North Korea's entire game plan is we rattle a saber until you send a bunch of food and money our way, and then we quiet down for a little while. And then we run out of our food and money, and we rattle our saber, and then you send us a bunch of food and money again, and then we quiet down, and they just do this cycle. And the Chinese make a lot of money smuggling stuff in North Korea, contraband, because why not? You're right there on the border. You just send it across a river or over a mountain range, and you smuggle stuff in. Fantastic. And so they have no incentive to like change the system as it is because they've got a whole captive market there for their contraband. But yeah, the refugee crisis would suck because all those people would leave North Korea, get into China, and be like, "Oh man, this is luxurious." Even though part of China isn't that wealthy. And it would absolutely break the regime for sure. And then China loses its market because all those people are going to go, oh, we can now be part of South Korea's market once this war is over and get everything from the United States and Korea. And China will go, man, we lost 20 million North Korean people we could sell stuff to. Probably stupid, so I'm late. Yeah, so I'm late. MMTLP should have been... I can't read tonight. I'm late. MMTLP never should have been traded. So there's issues. But with it poppin', would it be better to hold for divvy or cheese the squeeze? I think the divvy will be between 30 and 60 bucks. If the price goes above $60, I may hold up until those last few moments and just see how high it goes. And if it happens to go bonkers, I will sell. Because if the price is at $85, $100, $600, $1,000, that's more than I'll ever get off the divvy. And anything I've got to pay in taxes on it is going to be nothing compared to what I'd make in the end. So I'll hold. If the price for some reason never goes above like 60 bucks, then I'll just hold and get my 60 bucks from when the dividend happens. So that's, there you go. My guess is because you cannot have any naked shares when it goes private. You cannot have a single shorted share. You can't have any synthetics when it goes private. That the brokers may be forced to liquidate short hedge funds and family funds and everything else and go out to the market in those last couple of days and just buy whatever's available at the expense of those hedge funds. I'd be interested to see Kerrisdale just how much they're tied into this thing and if it blows them up, because those guys are just a bunch of assholes. So we'll see. We'll see what happens specifically when we get to those last moments. And it'll be in those 15 days when the S1 gets approved, the announcement of going private happens, they got 15 days to clean all that up. So it'll be a real tight, constrained, 2 weeks of, we got to close this now, and whatever we can do, because we cannot have synthetics when they go private. So it'll be a short microcosm of what would happen if GME asked to leave the fast system with the DTCC. It'd be a 90-day window, but they'll have to close everything in those 90 days. Lost Waves Houston, what deodorant do you recommend? I use Old Spice Swagger Antiperspirant Plus deodorant. That's the one I use. It works. It smells kind of nice. It's one of those, like, a shower, put on the deodorant, and if someone snuggles up to me, like, oh, you smell nice. Easy enough. Don't have to worry about cologne or anything else. That seemed to work just fine. BTW brand, buying a 40-foot RV Class A diesel pusher. There's some screaming deals out right now, replacing my 30-foot gas Class A. I would love, if I were to get a diesel pusher, I would probably keep like an SUV war rig to drag behind it, or go for the crazy off-road RV. Now you can go to the Earth Roamer and do stuff like that, but I might get like an old Toyota Sunraider and take the camper back off of it and put it on a modern diesel truck, just because gas mileage and power. Like, the Sunraiders were cool, but they had a little four-banger that was like 90 horsepower and just completely gutless. And so, and the gas mileage still wasn't that great. So you can have like a 4-cylinder, weak little engine pulling a 10,000 pound RV, getting 14 miles to the gallon, or you can put that sucker in the back of a diesel F250, F350, and get like 20 miles per gallon. It's crazy. Guitar Stuff Houston, do you have market puts? Not at the moment. What I have this week is I've got GME calls, and I'm hoping that we get some green in GME and those make a little bit, and then I'm going to take every last penny I make out of that, and I'm going to put them in MMTLP, and then when MMTLP sells, I'm going to finish off getting my 1,000 shares of GME, and then I'm going to put the rest of it into probably SPY puts and just go from there. So, because the SPY is going to go down for a few months, make money off of that, and then you can go into SPY calls and make money for the rest of the year off of that. Okay. John B., a friend posted an Instagram video of his Denny's Grand Slam breakfast being delivered to his table by a robot just this morning. Okay, so here's the thing about Denny's Grand Slam robots, things like that. Is my guess is the robot probably costs somewhere in the six figures, right? Denny's probably paid $200K for that robot, right? So you got this Denny's robot delivering food, $200,000. Now you probably have a $50,000 a year or more maintenance agreement on that robot, right? And what you're doing is you are saving on a waitress who's probably in a state where the minimum wage is like $7.25 an hour. So you're paying that person $12,000 a year to deliver that food, and the customer is then tipping and paying for the rest, subsidizing the rest of that person's wage. So I don't know what Denny's gained out of buying that table robot, right? Like, they didn't save any money on that table robot. They probably paid 20 years worth of salary on a waitress with that robot. And my guess is that robot doesn't go into the kitchen and pick up their own food. There's probably a person there in the kitchen that's like, take the food, put it on the robot's tray, and that person's entire job could have just been taking the food out themselves. So sometimes automation just doesn't pay. It might be a gimmick. You know, people, oh, get served on by the robot. Maybe they get more business that way. But they definitely aren't saving money on any labor with that robot. It's like McDonald's. McDonald's pays people $7.25, $8 an hour, and they're going to spend $1 million on a robot that takes fries out of a fryer. You can just get a 16-year-old to do that for you. What's the difference? Okay. Drew, hope MOAS is soon before next fall semester. I want to transfer from community college to university. Don't want to take out loans. If you are a resident of Washington State, they pay for college for you. If you make $50,000 a year or less, state college is paid for, whether it's community college or part of the university system. So it's a good reason to be a resident of Washington. Rick Sanchez, were you ever able to funge the NFT you thought you were close with? I did funge it, and then the whole price of NFTs crashed, and then there was no point. I funged a whole bunch of apes. But then the whole market collapsed, and it was like not even worth it to even try to post them to sale. If the bots are light enough, take them home. Exactly. Free parts, I like that. Diabolical lick on security mall bots. Writing security bot rodeo. That's what you could do. They'll bring back that trend of everyone stealing everything for TikTok videos. Aaron Salentine Houston, do you think MMTLP can go to $1,000 a share? Thing is, it has more short than VW in 08. This forced buying while the company MMT hold the majority shares. I would love that. I would love to be a millionaire. Let's diamond hand it. Why not? I mean, you might as well diamond hand it, right? Because the payout eventually is probably going to be pretty decent to begin with, which is right now 10 to 20 times what people are paying for. So you may as well diamond hand it. Go big. Hold that sucker. Wait. You can watch it go to $30. Go, no. Goes to $60. You go, no. Goes to $100. You're like, nah. Goes to $150. Nope. $300. Nope. $500. Not going to do it. There's still 5 days left on this. I'm not selling at $500. Goes to $600. No one's selling. Goes to $800. No one's selling. Goes to $1,000. People start going, I'm a millionaire. Maybe I'll start selling. Maybe it goes to $1,200, $1,300. And then people are like, you know what? Take everything. I will gladly sell at $1,300 because that is, 300 times what I paid for it. 400 times what I paid for it. So, why not? right? Was the float bigger in VW than MMTLP? I have no idea. I don't know what the VW float was. Oh, there's someone asking the same question. Go back. Sorry. They didn't answer the question. You say the shares. One sec here. What short selling? Short blah 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 blah. Talk about VW short squeeze. How big is their float? No one's telling me. I don't know what their float was. I'm scrolling, looking for information, not seeing it all. They keep talking about like, oh, VW owned this much percent of the company, but no one's saying how many shares there were. If someone has it, pop into the chat. If you know what the float was, I'd be curious to know. Lucy in the Sky Diamond Hands. She's been Lucy in the Sky Diamond Hands from Liz Clayman's Whistle. Well, Liz. Hello, Lucy. All right. Jimmy J, when the market falls, memes will fall too. Why would we squeeze if the market crashes? Because they shorted the companies using the blue chips, the rest of the market, as collateral for the margin they took out to short those companies. When you're shorting a company, you're either printing shares that don't exist, or you're borrowing shares from someone else, which is that borrowing is part of your margin, and to sell those shares to go back later and purchase them for cheaper, right? So if your assets under management are the collateral you have that establishes how much margin you can have, and those assets under management shrink, then your liabilities to holdings becomes gigantic and untenable. And the powers that be go, yeah, you guys are kind of overextended. We need to do a margin call and close some of these positions. Or you need to find more liquidity to create more assets versus your liabilities. So if the economy goes, right, then these guys either have to come up with more cash that they can't because there's a liquidity crunch, or they need to sell off a bunch of stuff they have to close these positions and equalize it out a little bit. Thing is, if they're selling these things off, the prices of their assets drop even more. And if they're buying this stuff to close positions, then the price of those things are going up because the demand is going up. That's why being in these short plays is an inverse to the rest of the market. Ted Tremendous. Today's Columbus Day. I celebrated by taking native lands and sent gold to King Ferdinand II of Aragon. Columbus, what a colossal piece of turd that guy was. I mean, people are like, we shouldn't judge Columbus for, what he did in his time. The people of his time judged him. He got stripped of his nobility, stripped of his wealth, thrown in prison because he was a horrible, rapey, torturous monster who basically pillaged through entire populations and enslaved people. And even the Spanish were like, whoa, buddy, we're going to have to make sure you don't do that anymore. So he was pretty awful. We rebranded him in the 19th century into some sort of folk hero and then taught school kids this fake history about Columbus. And then that persisted. It's kind of going back to what someone was asking about earlier about how do you reprogram your friends whose brains have been rotted by social media. We have an entire nation that somehow believes the Thanksgiving story and the story of Christopher Columbus as true, and pretty much all that stuff was just made up and turned into legend as a result. Okay. Ever watched Forbidden Planet? Technology was a downfall of that civilization. It's a good 1950s cult classic. If you're bored, check it out. I've not seen it, so why not? Let's probably bet it's on some streaming platform because old movies are easy to put on streaming. Aaron Soundton Houston, look up Peggy stock. The stock is on a run. Last time it squeezed with $35. Shares to borrow hit zero yesterday. Hopefully we can make money on it. Peggy, P-E-G-Y. It's at 440 right now. So it looks like hit $35, $38 in October of last year, and then dropped down. That's what we looked at this one the other day, didn't we? Dropped down to $1.70 and 2 weeks ago. And now it's up to $440. Oops. I think we look at this guy here. So if you bought at 87 cents on September 30th, that's pretty darn cheap. So you bought 87 cents, you're up 600% right now. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Is that good, Monkey? It's a good stretch you got going on there. Come here, I want to pet your face because it's a sweet little dog face. Yes, it is. Yeah. Although the last time it squeezed, it went from $15 to $38. So it's got a lot further to climb. Looks like 2018 it went from $9 to $38. So, I mean, if you bought options for the sucker 87 cents right now, you're making a fortune. So, good on you, anyone who got in that sucker. I'm professional. The shorts are going to cover, and a market crash is not going to happen. We're in for a long, painful ride. Maybe. You said you don't know about the security clearance and training camps for spy puts. Monkey, what do you want? Houston RNVA market cap is $5,000. What? Very small. So especially for 3 billion shares trading a day at whatever fraction that they're going for. Monkey butt. What is it with you? You're being a weird dog. Okay, let's see here. Where are we? Jerry Diamond, many AMC people have sold their APE in AMC. GME is different. We DRS APE AMC 15% dilution. Where is everything short thesis? Left after the first AMC 500% dilution. AMC got diluted quite heavily. I still think they're short simply because of all the FTDs on Ape Share show that there's still a heavy short on them. A lot of people are abandoning all of a sudden before even getting to that November point. I mean, people are like, you're a sellout to the folks who are abandoning, but I mean, maybe they did sell out, right? Everyone's got a price. I guess I'm asking for too much. $4 million is my price. So if Citadel or Melvin or 0.72 or Susquehanna or anyone else, $4 million, I'll stop talking. You guys can do what you do. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you what. instead of $4 million, you can get me 500,000 MMTLP shares, and I'll just shut up. That'll work for me. I'll just shut up. I won't make videos. I'll just shut up, and you guys can do your thing. And right, monkey? Should work. 4 million cash or 500,000 MMTLP shares, and I'll just shut up. So, Ken, if you're watching, I'll sell out. Why not? It's easier than working. But I think other people may be selling out for a lot cheaper than that. Oh, I guess my price is too high. I got to the point where you guys can't see anything I'm talking about. Okay. Because I'm an idiot. Yep. Sounds like an interesting place in my imagination. Oh, me. Okay. I'm still like an hour behind in the chat anyway. John B. Houston, did the gold rush end because they ran out of easy to find gold, or was it too many dogs after the same bone? Marginal utility. The gold rush basically ended because of the 2 world wars. World War I, a lot of people got drafted, sent off. And World War II, they made it illegal to mine gold. So people had to shut down their mines and mine things specific for the war effort, whether it was manganese or copper or whatever else, potash, aluminum. And so the mining operations went from the precious metal of gold to things that could be used in the war effort. And when they got back from war, the mines really didn't start up for a while. There really wasn't much incentive to do more gold mining until the price boom in the 80s, when gold shot up to like $800 an ounce out of nowhere. And a whole bunch of mines opened back up, and the price collapsed, and all those mines went out of business, and really didn't start opening up again until like 2004, 2005, when gold prices started to steadily climb again. We got back to the $800 range. When was that? Like 05, 06 maybe? And by then, a lot of these old ghost towns that have been abandoned for 70 years all of a sudden had like a new Walmart, and we're bringing in miners to work. And the gold prices have been climbing ever since. But for the most part, the gold rush essentially died because of the 2 world wars stopped prospectors and miners from going out there and operating. And there were some environmental laws that finally got implemented. Like in the 1920s, the state of Washington made it illegal to hydraulic mine, where you take these giant 10,000 pound per square inch fire hoses and hose down the entire mountainside and collect it all and throw it through sluices to get gold. Because it was killing off the fishing industry and just, making slopes unstable and destroying the environment. So like, well, maybe we should make it a little bit harder to mine for gold, and we can save maybe the salmon runs that half our population relies upon to survive. So little things like that change how the gold rush operated. So far, digging on Mars has been limited to drilling a few small holes, rocks, and scooping dust. It's true. There's not much else to find on Mars anyway. You might find a couple little things of, evidence of former life, maybe a few interesting minerals here and there, but it's not really going to be anything economic in Mars to find. Excuse me. Titty splinters. Javi A, good evening, Houston. How did the Hadron Collider create an atom? Martin, he might not be awake yet. He's one of our viewers from Switzerland. This week went to go visit CERN in the Large Hadron Collider. How did it create an atom? I mean, I think they smashed protons into each other, didn't they? And got them to overcome the nuclear forces and create a nucleus. So once you do that, and then an electron comes along, boom, you got yourself a helium atom. Yeah. So that's, you just spin them real fast with those magnetic fields and smack them into each other, and they go, whoop-ah, and they overcome nuclear forces and stick. Monkey doesn't have fleas. She's just an itchy dog. She eats the pill and she doesn't have fleas. You don't have fleas, monkey butt. Okay. Wee Wild, good morning. Watching 43 minutes behind at 1.25 speed. I'm away to the airport, flying to the States today. Welcome. Wee Wild's got himself quite the road trip ahead. Running an F-150, doing Merca style. Going through the middle of the country. It's going to be fun. Yes, if you're going to order MMTLP on Fidelity, the fixed income specialist, that's the one you talk to. Okay. I'm going to scroll. We're almost 10:30 point here. I gotta get my morning all squared away because the Mariners play at 12:30. So I have to make sure I get everything done early in the morning. I can watch the game and appreciate it. So let's skip down here. Come on. We'll do the last few questions here. If I skipped your questions, I apologize. I'm skipping ahead about a half an hour. And let's see what you guys got for me. Miss Missy Houston, I was looking at MMTLP on different brokerages, so I placed an order on MooMoo just for one, but it did go through. It's in with my other orders right now. I'll let you know via Twitter how I make out. Fantastic. All right. So it looks like I don't use MooMoo. Apparently you can only use MooMoo with margin, I guess. You can't have a cash account. I don't know anything about them. Other than that, but okay, letting you buy stuff. BOFH, it's not about just one waiter being replaced, but all the other waiters. They now don't need to pay either. And the fact that the robot doesn't ask for days off or a cost of living raise. Might be true. But also, if you have like an issue, what's like, hey robot, can I get some extra sauce? Right? You can be like, robot, go, and the robot just moves along rather than someone seeing you. There's something about customer service and having people you can talk to that can like rectify situations for you and correct things sort of analog style that robots are not able to command. If you're going to have somebody take the order from you, or you're going to like punch it into your own little kiosk thing, then fuck, might as well cook the shit at home. Like, there's something about being able to go in and have someone be like, what can I do for you, hun? And they pour you your coffee and they get you your water and they come back, take your order and bring you your food, and you have like a human interaction. There's just something about that that's I don't know, not necessarily quantifiable, but it adds texture to the life experience and gives, I don't know, a veneer of humanity to going out and doing things. You just aren't gonna be able to get from a robot. Just cold and calculated. And like if you punch in your order and you know the robots in the kitchen still put onions in your burger and you want onions in your burger, who do you complain to? Hey robot, get over here. I'm going to tell you right now that you did a very bad job and you put onions on my burger and how dare you? And the robot's just going to go beep, bop, boop, beep and take their food to the next table. It's going to be a weird world, man. Armand Moron, how easy is it to sell your MMTLP shares if the company goes private? You cannot sell when the company goes private. You cannot sell your shares at all when the company goes private. You are stuck with them until the company itself sells and gives you a cash dividend for your shares. That's it. So you either sell before the company goes private or you don't sell at all. That's basically. So basically, if you are holding and you're like, I'm not going to sell for any price, then you're going to be stuck with whatever the dividend is. And you will have no other option other than to hold. So that is the line that you are crossing there. Backyard Boogie, how do I buy MMTLP? If you answered, I missed when my phone died. You can buy from any major broker at this point. With Fidelity, you got to call the fixed income person and yell at them to help you put an order in. BW brand, my sister's job is much easier. They use robots to palletize boxes now. She just delivers pallets to it with a forklift. Well, there you go. Yes, Hughes Turd is my Twitter. So there you go. Okay. Well, we're at the 2 hour point. What we got here? Anything else? Anything else of note that are pertinent and new? DevStatromg. Check out recent video from comedian Bill Burr speaking about the bank stealing $28 a month from his account till he noticed my bank was stealing $28 from me. Yeah, that's what they do. I remember when my little sister was in high school. So one of my sisters is adopted, and she came from a rough financial situation, and so she worked like a dog all through high school and just saved money like crazy because she wanted to pay for college. And she's 18 years old. And she had managed to save like 30 grand. 18-year-old saving 30 grand. And then she discovered that Bank of America had been taking $300 a month from her account as a maintenance fee. Right? She didn't have one of those like minimum balance accounts. She just had a regular bank account. And it took a lot of screaming and yelling to get the bank to give her back the thousands of dollars they took from her for just having a bank account. Like, the banks will be evil. They're supposed to pay you to have your money in there because they use your money is their product, right? They take your money and they lend it to somebody, and they make money off of that lending. That's their entire business model, or should be. But now they want to charge you for the right of them using your money to make them money. That's bullshit. Banks need to get their act together and stop nickel and diming their customers. And otherwise, people should just leave banks in general and just go to credit unions overall and do that. Because if banks aren't going to pay you, appreciable percentage for your savings or your checking, then why are you even there, man? Get rid of them. Yeah. For Garcia, no one's panic selling AMC or GME to the moon, MFers. Yeah. Seriously, we're just sitting. We're waiting. We're sitting and waiting. And, forgot to mention, we have ourselves our vote. Go out there and vote. That's your job. That's was paid for today. And, vote. It'll be up there. The vote will be up there until somebody else wants to rent the board. Yeah. Okay. Is that it for us today, Monkey? She's out like a light. Yeah. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Is the Mariners game? What time is the Mariners game on Wednesday? That may determine when I do a show. Mariners schedule. All right. No, there's no game on Wednesday. It's going to be Tuesday and then Thursday at noonish. Okay, no, why no game Wednesday? That's weird. Yeah. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Why are they going every other day? That's weird. But okay. So Wednesday might be an afternoon day because I am promising to teach a friend how to drive stick shift at some point on Wednesday. She doesn't know how to do it, so I'll be doing that. I'm not sure when. We'll find out. And then my little sister and I are going to go get burgers, I think, at some point. So, all right. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much. I will see you sometime on Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great night, and shaboom.